believe it or not, you start to be an expert in all those fields if you want to grow your brand. That's what happened to me. I was an expert in everything.
Welcome to Honest E-Commerce, a podcast dedicated to cutting through the BS and finding actionable advice for online store owners. I'm your host, Chase Clymer, and I believe running a direct-to-consumer brand does not have to be complicated or a guessing game. On this podcast, we interview founders and experts who are putting in the work and creating real results. I also share my own insights from running our top Shopify consultancy, Electric Eye. We cut the fluff in favor of facts to help you grow your e-commerce business. Let's get on with the show. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Honest E-Commerce. I'm your host, Chase Clymer, and today I'm welcoming to the show the CEO of Eric Javits, Dario Markovic. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Chase. Thank you for having me.
I'm very excited to chat. So for folks that aren't familiar with the brand, can you quickly tell us what are the types of products that you guys are bringing to market over there? Like, what are you selling?
Sure. We're a premium hat brand. We're known as a premium hat brand, but we're selling as well women's bags, women's shoes, but we're known primarily for women's hats, from straw hats to winter hats to felt wool hats, all the way to, bags, straw bags again, summer shoes and leather bags.
Awesome. Quite the accessory collection there. Obviously, a little more on the luxury side of things as well. I was perusing the website a little bit earlier. Now, take me back in time. You're not necessarily the founder, but I'd say that you are definitely the impetus for the rebirth of the company. So where do we want to start this conversation?
Yes, that's right. Well, the brand exists now for 39 years. Actually, it was founded before I was born, a few months before I was born. But I came on board in 2020. The brand was pretty much a retail place. They're going just to retailers and selling their goods to the retailers, so wholesaling it. There was no online presence, except there was an Amazon store and they were selling through Amazon. But when I came on board, and that's around where COVID hit, as you probably know, that the retail world shut down, the physical retail world. And that's where the brand was forced to either, or they had no other option, go online, save themselves from going bankruptcy, or just adopt the e-commerce route. And that's where I came on, and just in really few months' time, turned everything around.
That's amazing. Let's talk a little bit about your life before coming on as the CEO. What were the skills that you were building at other companies that allowed you to kind of take on this turnaround? Sure.
It's very unusual. I grew up in Europe and in Switzerland. So I was working there in finance, very typical for Switzerland, Swiss folks. And I was, I kind of met my wife in South Africa, and then I moved to Chile, South America. And then we started a lot of different businesses. One of them being a kind of a educational academy, to call, where we teach fashion, mostly about fashion, where we hired the best folks from the country to be the teachers, to teach, the students how to, create a fashion brand, how to, build an e-commerce brand, branding, and so on. And we also had our own brands, e-commerce brands, in the jewelry space, in the fashion space. We still have some of them, and also in PR/marketing agency. It's where we work with locally with brands such as Tiffany & Co., Louis Vuitton, and obviously gives a lot of skills. Which prepared me very well for this endeavor.
How did this opportunity kind of come to be?
Well, we're actually doing PR work for one of the founders for his personal brand down in Chile. We're doing a big event for about 2,000 people. It meant to be for 500, and we ended up doing it for 2,000. And we did a lot of PR work, just hosting him on different TV shows and magazines. And then he kind of learned more about, how, what else we're doing. And he liked our work. That was back in 2017, actually. And then he 2020, when just COVID started, he said, he called us up and he's like, we're in deep trouble. Do you mind, looking into this and helping us? And that's where I kind of said, hey, you have to do this as soon as possible. Otherwise you're very much going bankrupt. That's how it really came to it. And we had about a month and a half time to really turn it around, because the company was very heavy under debt and had about 40 employees. And yeah, it was a very tough time.
Well, let's talk about that tough time now. Let's talk what were so you get involved. Obviously, there's some paperwork, and you guys got to figure out what that looks like. And that's not what this episode's about. I want to know about kind of what you are involved. You are now handed the reins. What's your punch list? What are the action items that you're taking on to try to, right the ship?
Well, the obvious thing, the brand was using Magento. And I'm a big Shopify user, and I use Shopify since 2014. So I was like, the first thing, just change to Shopify, which is the very, for us, perhaps the most straightforward and obvious e-commerce platform. And from them on, it was really the first big quick wins, which is, in my opinion, it's running Meta or Facebook ads, Google ads. Those are very big, fast, big win, or quick, easy wins to do when you have an e-commerce brand. And that's the first thing that we actually did. And that alone kind of showed potential and did the minimum, or did the necessary thing to turn the company around. And then slowly, we obviously, there was no email list. Can you imagine? There was no email software, so we went with Klaviyo, and we slowly added. It was a very slow transition because I was obviously involved in the wholesale as well, which is still active, not as strong, but still active. And then you had, you had a huge payroll. Imagine we're in New York, salaries are high, and it eats up whatever cash there is. And there was death. So I was like, at the same time, hey, let's run this up. Let's, generate, $1 million a month at least, which, before that they did zero. So it was tough. That's why we adjusted slowly. We added Klaviyo, obviously it's a fast play, but then, you want to add reviews, you want to add, everything that, this is going to be our channel. This is going to be the way the company grows and gets back on track. And that's how I started, actually.
So you mentioned that previously they were on Magento, and from listening to you, what I hear is the website mostly just existed. There were no marketing activities around it, and sales were very close to zero.
Yes. The sales on Magento on a yearly basis were about 100,000. And that mostly really came from sample sales. So what they did, they didn't do any traffic. They didn't have any traffic. So what most of it is kind of, hey, we have samples that we had last few years, and we'll just push them through our site. And they were actually calling up customers that they had some lists on. And those customers were buying through Magento. They were just sending links to customers that called in and would have liked to pretty much kind of buy a product. So that's how they did it, because there was no online platform. There was no physical store. The physical stores were the Nordstroms and where the product was sold in. And I wasn't really as well. I never used Magento, so just knew Shopify. And so for me, it was like, okay, we have to switch to Shopify, which we did in a few weeks.
So you guys get up and running on Shopify, and you start launching paid media. I think that a lot of our listeners are, still in that flywheel, trying to find the right messaging and product market fit to make their ads really work for them. And you're launching this kind of in the height of the pandemic. In the corner, though, what you have is these products sell because of the retail exposure, the brand longevity. Like it will resonate. You just need to figure out how to do it online. Do you remember anything about the testing and iteration of launching those ads during the pandemic?
Oh yes, definitely. First of all, I wasn't a hat specialist. I had no idea about hats. I took the history. I took kind of the inside what the brand was doing through dropship channels from Nordstrom, Bloomingdale's, Neiman's, and even though they hide the customers very well, you can understand and see what type of customer that is, because you can go into the dropship format and see what type of customers that is. The second surprise was the brand did not have any budget to run ads. Again, the brand was kind of in debt, and obviously there was a little bit budget. So I know the founder came to me and says, let's test it for $400, and I was like, again, $400 is not a lot of money. We won't be doing much with $400. And surprisingly, we did actually $58,000 with $400. It sounds amazing. It sounds incredible. Keep in mind, there was still no email list, which today is the core of I guess, a lot of brands. We're doing pretty much the easy play. We're kind of, there was no traffic. What should we do? We did just, we took the phone numbers of all these customers that we had. We collected about 3,000 emails from customers that once called in. And we started to use that list as a seed list to create lookalike audiences. That's just also before, the whole privacy switch came with Apple. So we used that lookalike list. We put that into Facebook, which we targeted those customers, and we went after blogs because we realized that the Asian community is kind of a fan of those kind of styles of hats that we had. So we went to forums, and we took them as well as interest audiences in Facebook, which were mostly Korean communities in the US. And then it exploded. And then we saw, hey, with $400, we were able to do $58,000. And it was about in 2 weeks time. And then we went full in May 2020.
Hey, Shopify store owners. Have you ever wondered if your store is leaving money on the table? Imagine increasing sales without spending more money on ads. Sounds too good to be true. Well, it's not. I'd like to introduce you to Store Tester. Store Tester is a done-for-you conversion rate optimization service for Shopify merchants. Could your store benefit from increased conversion rates, higher average order values, and improved revenue per visitor? Store Tester could be the perfect partner for you. From ideation to implementation, this full-service A/B testing service takes all of the guesswork out of improving Shopify stores. Store Tester does all the work for you while offering month-to-month transparent fixed pricing. It gets even better. They believe in their service so much, they're offering the first test for free for qualified merchants. Let me repeat, the first test is free for qualified merchants. Curious to see if you qualify for a free test? Reach out today. Visit storetester.com to schedule an intro call. That's www.storetester.com. Schedule an intro call today to see if you qualify for a free test. Hey everybody, today's podcast is brought to you by Intelligems, the ultimate profit optimization tool for Shopify merchants. I'm telling you this, obviously I own an agency. We use Intelligems when we're running split testing and CRO stuff for all of our clients. Are you looking to maximize your profits? Intelligems offers data-driven solutions to optimize your content, prices, discounts, and shipping rates. Join over 500 happy clients who have seen significant improvements. With Intelligems, you gain control over your e-commerce economics, boosting your profit per visitor by an astonishing 36%. But that's not all. Intelligems users report a 54.62 increase in revenue per visitor and a remarkable rise in conversion rates. How does Intelligems do it? Through a suite of tools that allows you to A/B test everything on your Shopify store, from landing pages to product prices and shipping rates. Imagine testing new layouts, offers, even a new Shopify theme with ease. We're testing a new landing page for our client on a new theme versus an old landing page on their old theme right now. Intelligems empowers you to find the perfect price point for your products and optimize your shipping strategy. But there's more. Boost your average order value with customized campaign offers and discover if your customers prefer free shipping or a lower list price. With over $100 million in incremental profit generated, they have over 1.5 billion transactions ran through their software. They have over 400 million shoppers that have gone through their test. Intelligems is not a tool, it's a game changer for your business. Are you ready to transform your Shopify store's profitability? Book a demo today at Intelligems.io. Empower your brand to reach new heights. Again, that's Intelligems, giving superpowers to your customer acquisition, retention, and overall profitability. You mentioned, obviously, previously, you had experience with PR and getting features that way. And then you just now said that like you also kind of were looking at getting exposure through blogs and whatnot. So you guys kind of doubled down on that skill set that you already had in house to kind of really tackle some of the unique challenges of trying to break this brand digitally.
Oh yes, it sounds a little bit weird because that's not the first jobs that I had on taking and selling goods. Because to be honest, it's not. It's a very more brand awareness play. Going on a PR route. It's not that instant response marketing type of channel, but it's important as well. We're doing it. Obviously, we're very, very strong in the PR affiliate world right now. Again, I kind of mentioned at the beginning, we kind of took things very slowly. And we started this beginning of 2023. So the first year and a half, we're kind of really concentrating on paid SEO and then, we're adding channels to it. So we started with affiliate PR in the end of 2022 and beginning of 2023. And that's a part of the channel as well. And it's actually a very fast growing, sales channel for us right now, the affiliate world, and doing a lot of publications, obviously, and getting blogs to write about us, getting backlinks, do follow, no follow, and a lot of people are going after the follow links. But we're doing everything, and it shows results slowly. It's not as Facebook and Google ads, obviously, but that's how you build your brand, or you have to kind of go through these channels once you saw your diminishing returns on ads, or you need that new seed audience. You have to opt in for those channels.
Absolutely. Now, you guys obviously experienced some pretty rapid growth. While you were trying to, take things slow, the sales weren't letting you. How are you guys adapting to this like rapidly scaling and growing and changing environment?
It was very difficult because in the beginning, you realize that, hey, we produce our hats in Asia. The raw material comes from Asia, and some raw materials come from South America, some from Europe. So sourcing and production take time. And in the first year and a half, we just oversold or just sold out quickly, and we missed a lot of sales in that case because we just didn't know how fast we'll sell. Obviously, I didn't have any insight on the e-commerce channel because it's a new channel. You kind of took whatever we sold wholesale as the reference, but obviously it's very different to deal with wholesalers. So then we realized that the core manufacturer of our raw material, which is a patented material, that we have only one manufacturer doing that, that they, at their capacity, they're like, hey, this is the space we have. We added additional machines to create that raw material, and now we can't do it anymore. So what do? How do you sell more units when your core materials? That's how you have to opt in for different materials, and that takes time. What materials should we use? We're a premium brand. We can just add any material. So that added to the complexity, and it just adds to everything. To sell fast, turn it around, to then all the logistical issues that we had during COVID, where a container is $20,000 and it used to be $3,000 or $4,000. So it was a very tough time. Nevertheless, we grew, and we're still growing. But it's just to have an idea. I'm not carrying everyone, but just to have an idea how many problems could come up. And unfortunately, there's still popping up problems, but it's a way of just running a business.
Absolutely, and I think that what you just shared about hitting capacity with your manufacturing is something that a lot of businesses need to understand and realize, especially younger businesses, as they go out and find these growth partners and people to help them run, direct response ads, the Facebooks, the Metas, those people that are, they're really going to help impact the traffic and hopefully the sales of your business. You need to be able to answer, what happens if your sales double overnight or triple or quadruple? Can you actually facilitate that velocity? And oftentimes they've never thought about it.
It's a good problem to have. Yeah, it is a problem. And most of them don't think about it because they obviously everyone wants to have this problem, but you just sometimes don't think this is happening so fast. And if you manufacture, and if you happen to manufacture outside of the US, I think that would happen if you manufacture inside the US, you depend on so many parties, from the raw material producer to the end manufacturer, and then to the logistic company. So you have so many parties that you depend on, and it takes time. So our lead time was about 3 to 6 months to get a product once we reordered a product. So and our season is spring summer. So if you sell something out even in March, which is the beginning of kind of the season, or February, you are not getting it until the end of the season. So the season is over. If you have a seasonal product, obviously we're doing fall products as well. But there you go. The season is over. And if you get the product, you have to wait another year or, pretty much 6 to 8 months to sell it again. And that it's sitting there, taking up storage. It's costing you money. And, that's another, and you paid for it. Or so the cash flow is impacting the production, basically your business. And then you have to continue to analyze how deep should I go with these products that sold well? Should I add new products? And it's very cash heavy, any fashion business. And again, I sound like, putting the negatives out there, but, it's just how we experience it. And it's still a great business. We've a great margin business, I have to say, and, we're able to naturally grow without outside capital, which is great. Now we're coming to a point where we were thinking about, hey, if we want to continue growing, we need outside capital. Otherwise, you can just add, 20 million worth of inventory in cost to make, 60 or 7 million and sell, 30, 40 million. So it's just a difficult play. So, but it's once you have that cycle in, it's obviously, great business to have, and it's a very scalable business.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the future. So, what does that roadmap look like if you're going to try to continue this growth for the next 2 or 3 years? Obviously, one of the big ones is the contemplation of bringing in outside capital to help you, hit those growth margins faster. Anything else on the mind?
Yes, we did last year expand into Korea. And actually, I kind of mentioned it. We were doing it with a local partner. So what they're doing is they establish physical stores in Korea, South Korea, and Seoul, which is the capital. So we have about 5 to 7 physical stores that are located in one of the most famous malls of Seoul. And that's one of the plays that we're looking at expanding. When you kind of crossing, or you're about to cross this 20 million mark, you have to think about those things. Expand or growing into certain categories if they're affiliated or close to what you're selling. I'm not saying we kind of cost that you say it. We took all the volume there is, or margin, the share of the hat business and the bag business. Not at all. But you naturally think about those things. So Korea is one. Europe is the second one, where we have a 3PL now kind of shipping to the European customers. Now everyone say, hey, Dario Markets came on board with Shopify, which is great. I was waiting for that a long time. And I was talking to Shopify when they started to let markets, but we kind of did that move just before. We didn't want to wait. And it's a little bit still different because the customer in Europe is very similar to the US customer, likes to receive the products within a few days. They don't like to have the idea that it's shipped locally or in the European, kind of.
At least on that side of the pond.
Yeah, so it costs more, but it's part of you have to expand, and we're having talks in the Middle East as well, which is a growing region. A lot of sun throughout the years. You have a huge expat community living there that spends a lot of time at the beach. So those are some ideas what we're doing to expand. There's a lot of more, but there's a few things that. But as you grow, it gets a bit more difficult to obviously have the same results through Meta, through Google. You have to go into more different channels. And then you start to, say you have to do more activities that in the past you just, hey, I just put $1 in and I get $5 back. It's not anymore the case. You might invest more in SEO where, your results come back in about 6 months time. So it's a bit more difficult. But this is, I guess, where every brand that grows has to face these, steps and challenges.
Absolutely, Dario. Now, is there anything I didn't ask you about today that you think would resonate with our audience?
There's nothing that comes to my mind. However, I guess it's a journey for me, at least. If you ask me, was it, how do you live that? I think that the results or the satisfaction comes from the journey. I would never imagine. It's not that initial success that I kind of thrive on. It's obviously it gives you momentum and you grow it. You have more motivation if you have those additional ideas. The same idea that I have today didn't come up in 2020 to do certain things. I think the most important part is for everyone listening is just start somewhere. And even if you think you don't have skills in other spaces, such as affiliate marketing or SEO or PR, you will get them. If you're a founder, if you're running the business, and if you're passionate about it, believe it or not, you start to be an expert in all those fields if you want to grow your brand. That's what happened to me. I was an expert in everything, and I am hands-on. I have to say I'm a CEO that is hands-on. So I'm doing a lot of things myself, or obviously I'm working with agencies. It's impossible to do everything myself. But you feel you have to know what you're talking about or what you're involved in. So you naturally go into it, dig into it, and learn about it. Even if you're running it later or not, and I just whatever you're strong at, is it SEO or Google ad? Start with that, and the business itself will carry into different spaces. So or how to set up a logistical, how to outsource the 3PL, how to work with the 3PL, all of these things. You will add them slowly.
Awesome. Dario, I can't thank you enough for coming on the podcast today and sharing all those insights. If I was listening to this and I want to check out some of these luxury hats, where should I go? What should I do?
You can visit us at ericjavits.com. Obviously, we're in social media. We're on Instagram. We're in TikTok. We're in LinkedIn. We're everywhere. So just visit us. Check, Instagram is the best place to have an idea about, what the brand stands for. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chase. Thank you for having me.
We can't thank our guests enough for coming on the show and sharing their knowledge and journey with us. We've got a lot to think about and potentially add into our own businesses. You can find all the links in the show notes. You can subscribe to the newsletter at honestycommerce.co to get each episode delivered right into your inbox. If you're enjoying this content, consider leaving a review on iTunes. That really helps us out. Lastly, if you're a store owner looking for an amazing partner to help you get your Shopify store to the next level, reach out to Electric Eye at electriceye.io/connect. Until next time.